Welcome to the deep dive. Let's just start with something I think a lot of us feel a huge contradiction in modern life.
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. You can spend decades in school, what, up to 25 years for some people, learning how to earn a good living.
Right, how to be a great employee.
Okay,
Professional.
exactly. But in all that time, how much formal training did you get on, financial literacy,
Huh.
on investing, on how to actually build wealth?
It's basically zero. It's a huge gap. We're all trained to work for money, but almost no one teaches us how to make money work for us.
And that gap, that's exactly what we're jumping into today. We're doing a deep dive into Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which for so many people is like the missing manual for this stuff.
It really is, and he sets the stage so well with this contrast between his two father figures. You've got the poor dad, who was his actual father.
Highly educated, right?
Oh, yeah, very smart, but valued job security, a steady paycheck, climbing that corporate ladder. That was his whole world.
And on the other side, you have the rich dad.
His best friend's father. Minimal formal education, but was completely obsessed with financial knowledge, owning businesses, buying real assets. It's it's two completely different mindsets, two different paths you can take.
And those paths really define the trap that so many people fall into, even high earners. He calls it the rat race.
The rat race, yeah. It's that endless cycle. You work harder, you get a raise,
And you immediately upgrade your lifestyle.
a bigger mortgage, a nicer car lease, and suddenly you have to keep working that hard just to pay for it all. You're stuck on the treadmill.
So our mission today is to break down the 6 key lessons from the book to help you get off that treadmill. Let's start with the mechanics, because this first part is where, it's where all the confusion starts.
It is. Lesson one is the true measure of wealth. The common thinking is, I just need to make more money.
A bigger salary will solve everything.
Right. But Kiyosaki flips that completely. He says, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. It's about retention, not just income.
And to do that, you have to know where your money is going. This leads to maybe the most important idea in the entire book.
I'd say it is. His number one rule is this. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability and buy assets. If you get that one thing wrong, you're in the rat race forever.
Okay, but let's define that, because his definition is, well, it's not what an accountant would tell you. Your home is usually called an asset.
It is, and that's the key. He defines it purely by cash flow. It's so simple. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket.
So income, money flows to you.
Money flows to you. A rental property that cash flows, a business you own that makes a profit, stock dividends, those are assets.
And a liability.
Takes money out of your pocket every single month. Your big house with the mortgage and the property taxes. In his world, that's a liability.
Your fancy car payment.
Massive liability. The boat, the toys, anything that drains cash from you is a liability.
And this is the trap for so many high-income people, isn't it? They confuse being comfortable with being wealthy. They buy bigger and bigger liabilities.
And then wonder why they feel so stressed and broke, even on a 6-figure salary. It all comes back to that quote. You don't get rich by earning more. You get rich by keeping more.
Which flows right into lesson 2. You have to let your money do the work. The poor and middle class, we trade our time for money. That's the deal.
And when you do that, you give all the power to your employer. You're dependent. The rich, they don't do that. They focus on acquiring assets to be their employees.
I like that framing. Your assets are your employees.
They work for you 24/7. They earn you cash flow while you sleep, while you're on vacation. Financial independence starts at the exact moment your money starts working harder than you do.
Okay, so buy assets, not liabilities. The math makes sense. But buying assets takes something that school definitely doesn't teach, which is courage.
Ah, yes. The mindset shift. This is lesson 3, and it's huge. The world doesn't just reward the smart, it rewards the bold.
It rewards action.
It rewards action, creativity, and guts. This is what he calls developing your financial IQ.
And that's not just about book smarts. It's about being willing to learn and then actually do something.
Exactly. You, the listener, you're already building it just by taking this in. But Kiyosaki is clear, there's always risk. There is. But your intelligence, your knowledge, that's what improves your odds.
And the thing that stops most people from ever taking that risk is just fear. Fear of failure. It keeps millions of smart people in jobs they hate because it feels safe.
He tells that story about himself, remember, how he made some early mistakes and lost, I think it was $50,000.
50,000. I mean, for most people, that's a never invest again moment.
It is, but he saw it differently. He didn't see it as a loss.
He saw it as tuition.
The price of admission for building his financial IQ. He learned a lesson he could never have learned in a classroom. He paid for real-world feedback.
And that connects perfectly to lesson 6, which is that people who avoid failure also avoid success.
There are two sides of the same coin. If you're so terrified of making a mistake or losing a little money, you'll never take the calculated risks you need to actually build wealth.
Failure is just feedback.
That's all it is. And the biggest liability in the real world isn't a bad investment. It's the fear of taking any risk at all.
Okay, let's pivot from mindset to strategy. Because the rich use a structural advantage. That is, well, it's almost invisible to everyone else, the tax code. Lesson 4.
This is a total game changer once you understand it. Kiyosaki says the secret of the rich is the corporation.
And it's not about being shady. It's about the order of how things are paid.
Exactly. Let's break it down. An employee, even a highly paid one, follows this path.
You earn, then you pay taxes.
Right off the top.
And then you spend what's left. You're spending post-tax dollars.
But a corporation, or any business entity, does it in a different order.
A completely different order. The corporation earns, then it spends on all its legitimate business expenses. That laptop, the home office, travel, education.
And then it pays taxes on whatever is left over. The difference is massive.
So you're spending pre-tax dollars to grow your asset base, while an employee is trying to do the same thing with money that's already been taxed, sometimes heavily.
Over a lifetime, that single difference creates an unbelievable advantage. It's why having a great CPA isn't a luxury. It's a critical part of the team. You have to play the game by the rules, and these are the rules.
Which brings us to lesson 5, and it's all about focus, where you put your attention. The poor and middle class, they are obsessed with their income statements.
Right. How can I get a bigger paycheck, a bigger bonus? They focus on the source of income.
But the rich are focused on their asset columns.
Totally different question. They're asking, how can I acquire another income-producing asset this month? They're focused on the structure of their income.
And this really brings it all together. His advice isn't to just quit your job tomorrow.
Not at all. That's a huge misconception. He says keep your day job, but start buying real assets.
Use that steady paycheck as the fuel.
Use it as the engine to build your asset column. Put that money into a rental property, into index funds, whatever it is. But the key is, when you get a raise, you don't inflate your lifestyle. You don't buy a liability.
You buy another asset.
You buy another employee that goes to work for you.
So we've gone from the mechanics of assets versus liabilities, to the mindset of embracing failure, to the strategy of using corporations and focusing on the asset column. Let's pull this all together.
I mean, the entire framework, it's about moving you from a position of dependency in that rat race to a position of freedom. You shift your focus from your job to your assets.
And he ends with this really profound redefinition of the word wealth. It has nothing to do with your net worth on paper.
Nothing at all. He defines it with a question. He says, wealth is a person's ability to survive so many days forward. Or, if I stopped working today, how long could I survive?
It just hits so hard.
Yeah.
Because it's not about how much you have. It's about how much cash flow your assets produce.
Exactly. True financial independence isn't about quitting your job. It's about having enough passive income from your assets that working becomes a choice.
It's optional. You're living life on your own terms.
That's the goal.
So if failure really is just feedback, if it's the tuition you pay for your financial IQ, here's a thought to leave you with.
What's one small, low-risk mistake you could afford to make this week? Maybe it's a tiny investment, a course on real estate, or just an hour with a financial advisor. What's one small action you can take right now just to get the feedback and start learning?
Take the action, get the feedback,
Yeah.
and put your money to work.